Hey guys, it's Paul Pluter on the Paul Pluter channel. And today, guys, I want to do a bit of an interesting look here. This is a bit of an interesting look, and it's kind of a paid video request, and it's a little bit lower than I usually take. It's $20. This guy's flicked me and said, could I make a video on a certain topic? And I got to be honest with you, I'm desperate for the cash. So I've decided to do the video. This is JU83 and it's for Michael. So let's jump in. Before we do that, let's just do a quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing my Rolex Explorer 2, the 16570. This is a 2004 F serial number. And I love it. Let's do a loom shot for the. Oh, I gotta loom this baby up. Let's get this baby loomed up. We just hold it against a light, and then we got a loom shot. Okie dokie, loom. Okay, so this here is actually a very interesting question. He said, "Hi Paul, just sent you a PayPal donation to share your view on the following. Recently, lots of channels have been talking about the Rolex supply shortage. What no one has been discussing is the global economic cooldown we are currently experiencing. 2 days ago at work, I received an evaluation from Deloitte M&A business unit stating that we are already in the economic downward cycle, and they went on to describe different scenarios, how it can unfold. Kindly, I'd like you to share your opinion on and thoughts on two topics. Number one, how was the luxury watch market behaving back in 2008, 2009, 2010 when the financial crisis hit the markets? Were people dumping their watches to get cash? Did prices drop back then? And if so, how much? As far as I remember, you bought your, he says, Patek World Time. It was a Calatrava. I bought a 2009. I bought a Patek Calatrava 5107. So please share your experience of that time period. Now he's also got another question, which we'll actually answer in another video. This is such a good question. I thought, fuck it. We'll make some vids about this. So firstly, how did the luxury watch market behave in 2008, 9, and 10? So this is the financial, the doom and gloom. What sort of happened there? And I gotta tell you, I was active. I started my channel in 2009. So let's just go through this thing here. Were people dumping their watches? So he's firstly asking what happened back then. Well, that was a terrible situation. The markets of the world kind of fell suddenly, and a lot of markets did not recover. However, the world for luxury goods, and I was very keen to keep my eye out for bargains, and it was an interesting time period there. And let's have a bit of a talk about that. So I'm well aware of that time period. Okay, so I would like to discuss that in detail. So let's go to his question. So that time period there, yes. Let's talk about that. Firstly, were people dumping their watches to get cash? Very interesting question. Look, there were some currencies that collapsed. There were some currencies that really were badly off. And naturally, there was a run on goods in these places, because whenever you've got a currency collapse, the shops might still be selling the pieces pre-collapse. So if the currency halves, suddenly the item on an international perspective becomes half price. So that does happen, but a lot of savvy. The problem is there's only certain types of luxury. There's only certain types of goods you can buy Say it falls, then normally it normally doesn't halve in price. Normally say a 20% drop. So you've got to buy something that you can buy at retail and then resell and factor in your profit. So when you look at that, it's actually a very hard way to make a buck. So when that's called arbitrage, where you buy in one market and you sell in another. Arbitrage. But I got to be honest with you, when you factor in travel costs and you got to be quick, you're not the only one who has a bit of money who can do that. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. And there's only certain types of assets you could buy like that. You couldn't, say, for example, buy a Tag Heuer at retail and then, you couldn't necessarily do that. It has to be Rolex, high-end. Even certain brands would be very careful. Like, would you do it with Zenith? No. There's certain brands you can and cannot do that with. So let's have a look at this. Were people dumping their watches to get cash? Of course, whenever there's a huge economic collapse, people need money. However, let me say this to you. Normally, the sort of person who owns multiple Patek Philippe's, for example, he doesn't need 10 or 20,000 for his wristwatch. No, his problems are so big he needs like $100,000. So if you think you can go and snag his Calatrava for, say, $5,000, no, it's not quite as easy as that. So, were people dumping? Some people were. Of course they were. When times are tough, you have a look what happens in all sectors of the economy. Boats, luxury boats, that's something people offload. Luxury cars. Have a look at the recent oil situation where the oil industry has been, prices were going down. They've actually gone up a bit with Iran hijacking those British super tankers. But you know what I'm saying. Those kind of luxury goods people get rid of. Watches tend to be more, normally they're very transportable, very cashable. But normally the type of people who may need to sell that Patek, they need a lot more money. $10,000 for their Calatrava isn't really going to cut it. Next question is, did prices drop back then? And if yes, how much? Now, that's a very good question. Funnily enough, you, as most people out there as the consumer, what sort of happened is dealers were offering less. Okay, dealers would be a lot more savage in their buying. They weren't necessarily passing on that saving. Okay, some prices did go down a little bit, but by and large, the dealers were snagging items, and then they weren't, the flow-on effect was not there. So that's something. So basically, the dealers would, for slow-moving stock, the dealers would say, no, I don't want it unless it was very cheap. Whereas in a boom time, they would still buy it, but they were a lot more savage because these things are harder to move. So that's a warning to you there. Blue chip stuff didn't lose as much. Now, I know a good friend of mine is very involved in the auction scene in Asia. And I said, is the President's for $5,000, for example? Because I would like to get an 18238. And he goes, no, they never fell that much. What sort of happened was the doggy stock, it fell a fair bit. But good examples, yeah, it fell, but it didn't just halve in value. It fell a bit. It was harder to move, but there were a few bargains, but not a lot in the wristwatch space there. As far as I remember, you bought your I got my Calatrava, which was a 5107. Yes, I bought that. I had a small inheritance. So this was in 2009. I actually paid $12,250 US, which at the time was 13.5 Australian, because Australian dollar was almost parity to the US. So at the time, that was actually, a lot of dealers said I paid quite strong. Quality was still expensive. If you wanted to buy a nice Patek, like a big size Patek, that was a 37mm, there was no real bargains there. No real bargains there. So I got to be honest with you. It's an interesting thing. Different industries. See, what happens is, some people in the jewelry business have said when they have hard times, a lot of people, instead of buying a new car or going for a very expensive vacation, they want to pick me up. So they'll buy a piece of jewelry. And watches aren't exempt for that. So even though you may think the whole economy is soft and it's down, there is also a lot of flow-on sales there. So I got to be completely honest with you. I did not see many bargains at all. I did not see many bargains at all anywhere. Nothing was really that spectacular. Nothing was that cheap. So to be honest with you, it's sort of like it's happened very much in the watch industry now. Your easy to move stock like Rolex that's number one. Patek will sell. Quality Patek will sell. Patek has always got a market because it is a very much in demand. The APs, now I'm not talking the fucking code 1159. I'm talking the Royal Oaks, very much in demand. Vacheron, soft. I had a friend who had an overseas chronograph, overseas chronograph, very, very soft. Breguet, I dare say, would be fucking hard. So basically, Rolex and Patek and Royal Oak is basically it. Everything else, fucking hard. And that's how the whole watch market is now. If you've got hot stock, you can get out of it. And you'll get... But if you've got dog shit, if you've got IWC, Omega Sports, they don't even want Omega Sports, like Planet Oceans, which are quality pieces, fucking hard to move. So the whole market now is like a recessionary market. Rolex, Patek, and Royal Oak, that's kind of wanted. Other things, it's hard. The dealers are very savage. Pam is fucked. IWC's fucked. JLC's fucked. Breguet's fucked. Those brands are all kind of fucking soft. Hence the reason I got rid of that crap. That's why I got rid of it, because I could see the writing on the wall, fuckers. Come on, man. What do you think this is? I got out of the dogs. You get rid of the dogs, hopefully you'll lose the fleas. Okay? That's the way it is, man. So, to be honest with you, watches themselves there, if we're heading into a major recession, of course, there can be more stock that comes up. Be a cashed up buyer, but avoid. You want to really stick. Do I see Rolex getting that much cheaper? Not really. Patek? And it's because where is the demand coming from? It's fucking communist China! Communist fucking China! These sons of bitches have discovered capitalism. They want the wealthy trinkets. What's going to happen? I can tell you what's going to happen here is they're still sucking us dry, man. They want Rolex, they want Patek, they want Royal Oaks. They don't want fucking code 1159s. So the hot stuff, in my opinion, will be pretty safe. So that's the first question. I'm going to make another video on the second question. So this is a paid video request. Come back for the next video. I'm Paul Pluto. Tell me what you guys think if you want me to commission a video. Come on, guys, make it 50. 20 was a bit fucking stingy. Make it 50 next time. And until next time, like, subscribe, tell your fuckhead friends, and ciao, fuckers.